श्रीपाद श्रीवल्लभत्वं सदैव श्रीदत्तास्मान् पाहि देवाधिदेव भावग्राह्य क्लेशहारिं सुकीर्ते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। त्वं नो माता त्वं पिता प्तोऽधिपस्त्वं त्राता योग क्षेमकृत् सद्गुरुस्त्वं त्वं सर्वस्वं नो प्रभो विश्वमूर्ते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। पापं तापं व्याधिमादिं च दैन्यं भीतिं क्लेशं त्वं हराशुत्वदन्यम् त्रातारन्नो वीक्ष ईशास्त्रजूर्ते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। नान्यस्त्राता न पिता न भर्ता त्वत्तो देव त्वं शरण्योकहर्ता कुर्वात्रेयानुग्रहं पूर्णराते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। धर्मे प्रीतिं सन्मतिं देवभक्तिं सत्सङ्गाप्तिं देहि भुक्तिं च मुक्तिं भावासक्तिं चाखिलानन्दमूर्ते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। श्लोकपञ्चकमेतद्यो लोकमङ्गलवर्धनम् प्रपठेन्नियतो भक्त्या श्रीदत्तप्रियो भवेत् श्रीदत्तप्रियो भवेत् श्रीदत्तप्रियो भवेत् श्रीदत्तप्रियो भवेत्। श्रीपादराजं शरणं प्रपद्ये। श्रीपाद श्रीवल्लभ चरितामृतम् Chapter 6 The Story of Narasavadhani. Next day, after finishing meditation and worship, Tirumaladaasa began to narrate. Sir, Sreepada Sreevallabha is the origin for all this movable and immovable creation. He is like a banyan tree. His sub-incarnations are all like branches of that tree. The roots growing down from the branches of the banyan tree, though appear to have independent nature, their base is the banyan tree only. From deities, devils to all living creatures, he is the refuge and resort. All forces emanate from him, and again they merge in him. To a person who reached the summit, all ways look alike. In the same way, people of different traditions find synthesis in the philosophy of Lord Datta. All beings are surrounded by an aura. When I was in Pithapuram, a yogi came there. He was indicating how much aura was around a particular statue or how long the aura of a particular person in a particular color extended. He visited Sri Kukkuteshwara temple and wanted to test the length of the aura and its color of self-manifested Datta. He had the vision of Sreepada Sreevallabha in the place of Swayambhu Datta. Profuse white light resembling lightnings spread around his head. Encircling that white light, blue light spreading up to the end of all directions became visible. That divine personage said to the yogi, "My child, you are wasting valuable time in mad pursuits to reckon the lengthwise expansion of the subtle bodies of others. First, you think about yourself. Death is imminent to you in a few days. So think of the ways of getting salvation. Verily, I am Datta, who is the origin of all doctrines and all truths. When great Siddhas, great sages, and great devotees invited me with love, I incarnated in this Kali Yuga in Padagaya Kshetra. On hearing the preachings of Swami, the old tendencies of the yogi got extinguished. His power of knowing the aura of the subtle body merged completely in Srivallabha. Then he visited Srivallabha at his own residence and became fortunate. That yogi disclosed. The pure white light spread around Sreepada revealed that Srivallabha is very pure and is a complete yogavatara. The blue light shows that he is filled with infinite love and mercy. After the yogi left, an interesting discussion took place. How is the division of 4 castes to be decided? Is it according to the differences in the aura of subtle bodies? Or is it according to the consideration of caste and gotra? To which caste Upanayanam, that is the Vedic investiture of sacred thread, has to be done? To which caste Upanayanam according to the method of Puranas has to be performed? Is Upanayanam related to the third eye located in the center of the eyebrows? Or is it some other special thing? What is Medhajanam? Such discussion continued very heatedly. Pandits could not arrive at a unanimous opinion. Sri Bapannavadhani, famous as a true saint, was the president of Pithikapur Brahmana Samajam. He was also called Bapanarya. He was worshipping mainly sun and fire. He was invited to preside over a sacrifice that took place at Pithikapuram. At the end of the sacrifice, there was torrential rain. All people were elated. Sri Vatsavai Narasimha Varma, a Kshatriya, requested Sri Bapannavadhani to reside in their village. The request of Sri Varma was rejected. Sri Bapanarya used to accept only the honorary remunerations given during sacrificial rites. If that money was tainted, he was not accepting it. Sri Varma had a Kapila cow. He was very fond of it. Its name was Gayatri. That cow was giving abundant milk. It was very gentle in nature. At the same time, information reached Sri Varma that Gayatri was not to be seen and that it was missing. Sri Varma questioned Bapanarya, who was an astrological pandit, about the cow. Sri Bapanarya disclosed that the cow was with Khan Sahib, a butcher in Syamalambapuram, that is Samalkota. He also said that immediately one should go there and recover the cow, failing which it shall be killed. While sending a person to Syamalambapuram, Sri Varma laid a condition to Bapanarya. The condition laid down was that if Gayatri comes back according to the words of Sri Bapanarya, he has to accept 3 putlu land. A putlu is an extent of land that produces equal amount of grain of 2400 to 3000 seers and a habitable residence as gifts. Bapanarya was in a dilemma. If he would not accept the gift, Sri Varma would allow the cow to be killed. Then the sin of Gohatya, that is killing a cow, would fall upon him. He thought that accepting the gift was better than becoming exposed to the sin of cow slaughter. Gayatri was rescued. The residents of Pithikapuram were fortunate. Sri Bapannavadhani became a landowner of 3 putlu. He had residential accommodation for living. Sri Bapanarya had a son by name Venkavadhani and a daughter by name Sumati. The horoscope of Sumati had all auspicious features and her gait resembled the royal walk of an empress. So, she was named as Sumati Mahaarani. The name and fame of Sri Bapanarya spread on all directions. A Brahmin boy named Appala Lakshmi Narasimharaja Sharma with the surname Ghandikota came to Pithikapuram from Ainavilli, a village in Godavari region. He hailed from the lineage of sage Bharadwaja, Apastamba Sutra and belonged to the Velanati Vaidika sect. There was the idol of Kalagni Shamana Datta in his house. During the time of worship, that idol was talking to Raja Sharma clearly and was giving him instructions. Appalaraja Sharma lost his parents in his childhood. One day while worshipping, Kalagni Shamana directed Raja Sharma to complete his education under the guidance of Malladi Bapannavadhani belonging to Haritasa Gotra, Apastamba Sutra and Vaidika Velanati sect. So, Raja Sharma came to Pithikapuram. As Lord Datta ordered, Sri Bapanarya provided boarding facilities in his house to Raja Sharma who came to him as a student. He did not allow him to beg for food in various houses. Sri Bapanarya used to worship Lord Shiva during the time of Shani Pradosha, that is, Saturday evening. The ladies of the house were performing religious ceremonies to Lord Shiva during the time of Shani Pradosha. In ancient times, Nanda and Yashoda performed worship of Lord Shiva during the time of Shani Pradosha. As a result, they were blessed with the fortune of bringing up Sri Krishna. Sri Narasimha Varma, Sri Painda Venkatappaya Shreshthi and some other prominent Vaishyas were unfailingly participating in the adoration of Lord Shiva along with Sri Bapanarya. The voice from Sri Kukkuteshwara Swami about the marriage between Sumati and Appalaraja Sharma. Once during the Shani Pradosha time, after the worship of Lord Shiva, a brilliant electric luster beamed from Sri Kukkuteshwara Shivalinga. Then a profound voice was heard saying, "My child, Bapanarya, you give your daughter Sumati Maharani in marriage with Appalaraja Sharma unhesitatingly. The universal will would be achieved. No individual in this animate or inanimate creation has any authority to violate this great decision. This is the decision of Lord Datta." This voice was heard by Painda Venkatappaya Shreshthi, Sri Narasimha Varma and all those who were present. All of them were astonished. Information was sent to relatives, kith and kin of Raja Sharma in Ainavilli. Marriage of Raja Sharma with Sumati Maharani was decided. It was a regrettable matter that Raja Sharma did not have even a house. Sri Painda Venkatappaya Shreshthi said that he had many houses and that he would offer one of them to Raja Sharma. Raja Sharma would not accept any donation. Shreshthi spoke with the relations of Raja Sharma and arranged for the evaluation of the house that he would own as an heirloom. It was valued as worth 1 varaha, a coin of money that is equal to rupees 3.5 to rupees 4. The house of Shreshthi was valued at a minimum of 12 varahas. Raja Sharma expressed his inability to pay the difference of 11 varahas. Then Shreshti stated that he would sell his house for 1 varaha only. Shreshti said, "If you object to take the house as a gift, you take the house by paying 1 varaha." All have agreed that whatever is stated by Shreshti was according to the tenets of Dharma. The marriage of Sumati Mahaarani and Appalalaxmi Narasimharaja Sharma took place amid the chanting of Vedas by great Vedic scholars. The marriage was conducted to the accompaniment of auspicious melodies from musical instruments in a grand manner. The incarnation of Sreepada Sreevallabha came to dispel the darkness of ignorance. It arrived to remove the limping progress of people in physical and spiritual matters. Therefore, Lord Datta commanded the deity of time and deity of action. In pursuance of his command, one blind boy representing gloomy ignorance and a lame boy representing the halting progress in worldly and supraworldly spheres were born to Raja Sharma. Sumati and Raja Sharma were greatly dismayed that their 2 children were disabled. There is a famous Vigneshwara temple in Ainavilli. Once, their relations brought the holy offering of that Lord Vigneshwara to Pithikapuram. Sumati and Raja Sharma received that Mahaprasada. That night, the divine elephant Airavata was seen by Sumati Maharani in her dream. In the next few days, conch, disc, mace, lotus, trident, various deities, sages, siddhas, yogis, and other similar holy persons were appearing in her dream. After some days, she was experiencing divine revelations even in her wakeful state. When her eyes were closed, she was viewing hermits doing penance, sages and others with divine luster and variegated hues like pictures on a screen. When Sumati Maharani consulted her father Bapanarya, he said that all those signs indicate the birth of a great Mahapurusha with complete auspicious features. The uncle of Sumati Maharani, Sridhara Pandit, said, "Amma, Sumati, there is a relationship between Vaishakha, the birth star of the planet Ravi, and the incarnation of Sri Rama. Similarly, there is a relationship between Kritika, the birth star of the planet Chandra, and the incarnation of Sri Krishna. There is a relationship between the planet Mars, born in Purvashada star, and the incarnation of Sri Lakshmi Narasimha. There is a relationship between the planet Buddha, born in Shravana star, and the incarnation of Buddha. There is a relationship between the planet Jupiter, born in Purva Phalguni star, and the incarnation of Vishnu. There is a relationship between the planet Venus, born in Pushya star, and the incarnation of Bhargavarama. There is a relationship between the planet Saturn, born in Revati star, and the incarnation of Kurma. There is a relationship between the planet Rahu, born in Bharani star, and the incarnation of Varaha. There is a relationship between the planet Ketu, born in Ashlesha star, and the incarnation of Matsya. The time of your question concerns a divine secret. Therefore, a doubt is lurking in my mind that Lord Datta, who controls the position and movement of crores of planets, stars, and greater universes, is likely to be born. The perennial excellence and grandeur of Lord Datta. That information was conveyed by Sumati Maharani to Raja Sharma. Raja Sharma said that he would ask Kalagni Shamana Datta during the time of worship. None should see during the worship of Kalagni Shamana. After worship, Lord Datta sits face to face in human form and speaks. Then he would merge in the idol. This was a daily affair. Raja Sharma would not submit petty matters or selfish problems. That day, during the time of worship, Datta appeared very placid. After the worship, Datta sat before Raja Sharma. He called, "Come, Sridhara." One form emerged from Lord Datta and immersed in meditation before Lord Datta. Datta again made sign with his finger and called, "Come Sridhara." Immediately that form merged in Lord Datta. Raja Sharma was wondering at this. Lord Datta told Raja Sharma, "The form you have just seen is one of my sub-incarnations that come out in the ensuing years. Even the liberated souls who merge in me should come out when I call them. When I order to depart, they should fade out at once. My sportive excellence is not limited only to the earth. All the globes in the universe are play balls in my hands. If I kick once with my leg, one is thrown away into billions of miles. I am beyond birth and death." Saying so, he touched the center of eyebrows of Raja Sharma. Immediately it dawned upon Raja Sharma that he was born as Vishnu Datta in one of the yugas, and his wife with the name of Sushila was born as Somi Devamma at that time. All the past came to his memory. Sri Datta spoke thus, "When I appeared before you in that yuga, I asked you to request for any wish. You did not ask for a correct wish. You invited me to your house for partaking meals in connection with annual ceremony of your ancestors. I took meals along with sun and fire gods. I granted permanent Brahmaloka to your forefathers. I went to incarnate as Sreepada Sreevallabha. For the last 100 years, I am giving my darshana as Sreepada Sreevallabha to yogis and great people." In Treta Yuga, sage Bharadwaja conducted Savitrikataka Chayanam sacrifice in Pithikapuram. The holy ashes of that sacrificial fire formed into huge mountains. Hanuman carried those ashes to heaven, earth, and Patala worlds. In Martyaloka, those ashes were thrown in Dronagiri of Himalayan region and in some other regions. While Hanuman was carrying those ashes, one small piece fell in Gandharvanagara, that is Ganagapura. Gandharvanagara is the holy confluence of Bhima and Amaraja rivers. After retracing my incarnation as Sreepada Sreevallabha, I will be born as Sri Narasimha Saraswati in Meena Lagna. I will display many miracles in Gandharvanagara and remain for 300 years in the Kadali Vana of Sri Shaila in Taposamadhi. After that, I live in Prajnapuram with the name of Swami Samartha and leave my mortal body when Saturn enters Meena Rashi. Raja Sharma explained to his wife the announcements of Lord Datta. Satyarishishvara Bapanarya averred, "My child, Raja Sharma, you were the pious one who offered meals during annual ceremony of your ancestors to Lord Datta, sun god and fire god in the ancient times. Datta in any form may ask for meals during this birth. Even if that happens to be a day of ceremony in memory of the mains, and even if the revered guests have not taken meals, you offer meals to Lord Datta when he asks, without any hesitation. My child, Sumati, please keep a note of these things carefully. Shankara Bhatta, the sportive plays of Lord Datta are unprecedented, unthinkable and unheard of so far." Birth of Sreepada Sreevallabha. On a Mahalaya Amavasya day, Raja Sharma was making arrangements for the ceremony of his ancestors. Then a cry of supplication, "Bhavati Bhiksham Dehi," was heard at the entrance of the house in the street. Sumati Mahaarani gave alms to the Avadhoota, the one who is freed from all worldly bonds. He asked her to request for any boon. Sumati said to the Avadhoota, "Sir, you are an Avadhoota. Your words are self-fulfilling ones. Elders are saying that the incarnation of Sreepada Sreevallabha will be attracted towards the earth very shortly. In what form Lord Datta is now roaming? It is heard that Lord Datta is wandering on this earth from the last 100 years. You told me to ask for any wish. I have a desire to see the form of Sreepada Sreevallabha. On hearing those words, the Avadhoota broke into a horrible laughter that shook the worlds. Sumati Mahaarani felt that the whole universe in her vicinity disappeared in a trice. A 16-year-old handsome lad in the attire of a sage appeared before her and said, "Mother, verily I am Sreepada Sreevallabha. I am Datta. You wanted me to show you Sreevallabha in Avadhoota form. To satisfy your desire, I am giving you the vision of Sreevallabha. You can ask me for anything in the Sreevallabha form of mine. You gave me food. In return, I want to grant some boon. People in this world doing sinful acts intentionally derive bad results. If good deeds are done intentionally, good results are achieved. Performing good deeds without any desire is called akarma. On account of akarma, another result associated with papa or punya has to be granted. That is under the control of God. Shri Krishna extolled Arjuna to kill Kauravas because he did akarma. The idea is that such killing will not entail any sin. The slaying of Kauravas was a divine decision. You and your husband did lot of akarma. Therefore, some things have to be done for the welfare of the world. Express your wish without any hesitation. I will definitely grant it. The desire of Sumati Maharani after the vision of Lord Datta. Sumati Maharani saw that supernal auspicious figure of Sreepada Sreevallabha and fell on his feet and paid obeisance. Sreepada Sreevallabha lifted Sumati Maharani from the ground and said, "Mother, it is a ludicrous matter that a mother should fall on the feet of her child. It diminishes the lifespan of the child also." Then Sumati submitted, "Lord Sreepada Sreevallabha, you called me mother. Therefore, you agreed that I am your mother and you are my child. Yours is a true word. So, make that word a reality. Please take birth as our son." Then Sri Charana spoke thus, "Tathastu, be it as may be. I will be born in the same form of Sreepada Sreevallabha which you witnessed now. Mother, falling on the feet of the child results in the diminution of the lifespan of the child. I will not violate the principles of righteous conduct and destiny. Therefore, I will live for only 16 years as your child." For that Sumati began to lament, "Oh, what an offense happened! Is the life only for 16 years? Sreepada said, "Mother, I will conduct myself till 16 years according to your wishes. After 16 years, a boy has to be regarded as a friend and no restrictions should be imposed. You should not compel me to marry. You must give permission to me to become an ascetic and wander freely. If you coerce me against my will, I will not remain in your house." After saying that, Sreepada quickly left the place. Sumati Maharani was dumbfounded for some time. She explained to her husband all that transpired. Appalaraja Sharma said, "Sumati, don't grieve. Your father has already hinted that Sri Datta would visit our house seeking alms in this fashion. Sri Datta is an ocean of mercy. Let the birth of Sreepada Sreevallabha take place. Afterwards, we may think about other things." The news that an Avadhoota visited the house of Appalaraja Sharma spread in the town. It was discussed that bhiksha, that is alms, was offered to the Avadhoota even before the Brahmins took their meals on the day of Mahalaya Amavasya, which was of utmost importance to the mains. Sri Bapannavadhani said, "The birth of Sreepada Sreevallabha is known to all. To prostrate before an Avadhoota is also proper. So, there is no lapse on the part of Sumati. To prostrate before a child may shrink the lifespan, but to prostrate before an Avadhoota is not wrong." The Brahmins of Pithikapuram were very much jealous about this matter. One scholar among them, known as Narasavadhani, was highly envious. On Amavasya day, all people will be busy in performing commemorative ceremonies to their forefathers. It became a difficult problem to procure Brahmin guests for the ritualistic feasts. However, Bapanarya said that no difficulty would arise in the house of Appalaraja Sharma. Sri Raja Sharma was in meditation of Kalagni Shamana. In the meanwhile, 3 guests arrived. The commemorative function of the forefathers was conducted without any obstacle. My child, Shankara Bhatta, today it became an important debatable point whether Vaishyas have the authority for Vedic sacred thread ceremony. The council of Brahmins assembled. A scholar named Aashutosh of Navadvip from Bengal came to Padagaya Kshetra. He was having old Nadi books with him. He was also invited to the council of Pandits. Sri Bapannavadhani said that in spiritual discipline, Brahmins, Vaishyas and Kshatriyas stand on an equal footing. Therefore, Vedic Upanayanam was admissible according to ancient dharma to those castes. For others, Upanayanam in the Puranic tradition could be performed if they so desire. Caste, gender and age were no impediments for attaining wisdom. There were Vaishya sages in Siddhas, and one Vaishya sage named Labhada became a Siddha by the grace of Lord Datta. Man would derive benefits in all endeavors if the grace of Labhada Maharshi is available. Sri Bapannavadhani's decision was acclaimed by all. However, this decision became painful to a Pandit known as Narasavadhani. He was adept in dogmatic argument. He was a devotee of goddess Bagalamukhi. He worshipped that goddess every day. He would wash his face before commencement of arguments. He chants the incantation of Bagalamukhi. Then he would proceed to argue. It was difficult to defeat him at that time. Sri Bapannavadhani was a pious one who recited Gayatri Mantra many crores of times. Both of them never indulged in a head-on collision course during arguments. Narasavadhani washed his face and meditated upon the mantra. Sreepada Sreevallabha was having very close relation with his maternal grandfather even from a very young age. So, he was accompanying his grandfather to the meetings of Brahman Parishad, an assembly of Brahmins. No one was obstructing the charming young boy. That day, Narasavadhani felt uneasy with the presence of Sreevallabha in the meeting. Narasavadhani thought it was wrong for a young lad to attend a conference of great scholars. Before commencing arguments, after reciting Bagalamukhi mantra, he questioned Sreepada as to why he came there. For that, Sreepada replied, "Grandpa, it is not proper to attend uninvited. As you called me in the prescribed systematic manner, I came. I will go if you ask me to go. What is it for me? I am a free one. I am a boy." Narasavadhani thundered that Sreepada should quit. Sri Raja Sharma took his son away. Narasavadhani, who wanted to start arguments, could not speak. In spite of great effort, no word came out of his mouth. Aashutosh, who was watching all this, laughed hilariously. The decision of Bapannavadhani was carried out in the meeting. Vedic Upanayanam was prescribed for Vaishyas. A decision took place about the Nadi books available with Aashutosh. It was suggested in the Nadi books that the birth time of Sreepada Sreevallabha should be calculated according to the mathematical formulae given in the Sandra Sindhu Veda. It was determined that Sreepada was born in the early hours of Ganesha Chaturthi in Chitta star, in Simha Lagna and Tula Rashi. About Sreepada, it was mentioned that he was an incarnation of Sri Datta, and as his feet were marked with all auspicious features, he bears a worthy name as Sreepada Sreevallabha. It was further noted that his horoscope should not be given to anyone, and that it will reach in course of time through Akshaya Kumara of Tripura belonging to Jain religion. All that would happen according to divine plan. and it would reach Pithikapuram as a part of divine play. Ashutosh went to the house of Sreepada Sreevallabha to see him. Sreevallabha said, "Today's star is Chitta. I am very much pleased if anyone worships me on the day of my birth star. You came with pure devotion, so I am blessing you. Ask for anything you desire." Then Ashutosh said, "Lord, I learnt that Narasavadhani is a devotee of Bagalamukhi. I thought of having a vision of Ambika through his assistance. My desire became a hope in vain. I understood that Ambika was furious with him." Sreepada immediately said, "I am verily that Ambika whom he is worshipping. Ambika, who was with the subtle body of Narasavadhani until then, merged in me the moment he asked me to leave. I am the personification of all gods and goddesses. Have the fortune of Ambika Darshana." Saying so, he appeared as Bagalamukhi before Ashutosh. Fully satisfied, Ashutosh left for Penushalakona, that is, Penchalakona in Nellore district. He reached the land of penance of Kanva Maharshi in the forest of Penchalakona as per the instructions of Sreepada. Sreepada told him that he would be born in Maharashtra in the Vajasaneyi branch of sage Kanva. He added that he will bless him when he incarnates again, and that he will be one among his chief disciples who witness all the extraordinary miracles as a treat for his eyes. Sreepada asked him to immediately move. Marvelous spectacles appearing at the time of the birth of Sreepada. Then I said thus, "Sir, please narrate some more miracles of Sreepada witnessed by you. Let me have that fortune." Then Tirumaladaasa began. Shankara Bhatta, Narasavadhani was enraged with Bapannavadhani. He wanted to insult him somehow or the other. He thought that Bapannavadhani was responsible for his loss of favor with the deity Bagalamukhi. He was propagating that Bapannavadhani nullified his efficiency of that mantra through some tantric application. He was much more troubled about the details relating to the incarnation of Srivallabha. He was arguing that Nadi books were unreliable and that it was a sacrilege on the part of Bapannavadhani to offer food to a fish-eating Bengali Brahmin. He was further arguing that no man can be an incarnation of Purna Brahma and that a young lad like Sreepada cannot be Lord Datta, who is omnipotent, omnipresent and omniscient. He was mischievously misrepresenting the supranormal activities of Sreepada, who was uttering pranava, that is Om, from his infancy, who was speaking about scriptures in Sanskrit even when he was rollicking in the cradle, who was exhibiting extraordinary intelligence disproportionate to his age. He was spreading rumors that a Brahmin Vedic scholar who died took shelter in the body of the boy and was speaking in this unnatural way. He was maintaining that the self-manifested Datta in Sri Kukkuteshwara temple was the real benefactor and that it was wrong to treat the boy as Datta. When Sreepada Sreevallabha was born, a cobra with 3 hoods was holding out its hoods as an umbrella wherever he was kept for 18 days. He came out of the mother's womb as a dazzling illumination. Sumati Mahaarani fainted immediately after he was born. Auspicious musical notes from musical instruments were heard from the labor room. After some time, an invisible voice warned all people to leave the room. 4 Vedas, 18 Puranas, great persons arrived in the shape of brilliant lights to greet Sreepada. Sacred Vedic mantras were heard outside the room. Silence spread after some time. This astonishing incident was perplexing and beyond comprehension even to Sri Bapannavadhani. The sportive plays of Sripada's childhood. A year elapsed after the birth of Sri Sreepada Sreevallabha. He was attending the conferences of scholars along with his grandfather Sri Bapannavadhani even when he was a child of few months' age. Sri Charana used to freely walk, deliver discourses on scriptures, and perform wonderful miracles even when he was a boy of few months' age. The residents of Pithikapuram were thinking that a great scholar who died entered into the boy and was performing all these miracles. They were also thinking that Bapanarya and Raja Sharma were wrongly considering him as an incarnation of Lord Datta without giving proper medical treatment to the boy, and that was not an acceptable matter. As Pithikapuram is Padagaya Kshetra and an important kshetra for the departed ancestors, and as some tantrics who could speak with dead souls resided in Pithikapuram, such arguments as above gained strength. As I came from Mallyadripuram, I was washing the clothes in the houses of Sri Bapanarya and Sri Raja Sharma. The washerman who was washing the clothes in the house of Sri Narasavadhani died due to old age, had one son. He migrated to Kokanadam, which is called Vayasapura Agraharam, that is Kakinada. Therefore, I was engaged to wash the clothes in the house of Sri Narasavadhani. As I was having intimacy with the family of Sri Bapanarya, I was changed as a person of auspicious desires. The flame of spiritualism glowed in me. Instead of personally washing the clothes of Sri Narasavadhani, I entrusted the work to my eldest son Ravidasa. If I see Narasavadhani on any day, I was getting disturbance in my stomach, and I was not in a position even to eat food. I was able to wash the clothes of those families who had auspicious desires. Divyanugraha of Sripada on Tirumaladaasa. Ravidasa is my eldest son born to my first wife. Instead of myself, I was getting the clothes of Narasavadhani washed by Ravidasa. Narasavadhani somehow came to know about it. He ordered me to wash his clothes. Orders of elders are to be complied with. I washed the clothes while recollecting the name of Sreepada. Ravidasa took them to the house of Narasavadhani. Strangely, Narasavadhani felt as if scorpions and poisonous centipedes crawled on his body when he wore the washed clothes. However, there was no effect on other members of his family. Narasavadhani was troubled as if his body was put on burning fire. The clothes were like apparels of fire on him. He sent word for me. He told me that I introduced some evil spirit into his clothes through witchcraft and I would be punished for this heinous act. He lodged a complaint with the judicial officer. The judicial officer exonerated me. My child, Shankara Bhatta, the place of Sripada are unthinkable. After I returned home from the judicial officer, Sripada came to our house as a fresh young person of 16 years. From the time of his birth, Sripada was appearing to his devotees according to his chosen age. It appears quite natural to those who are having direct contact with the sportive place of Sripada. With utter excited amazement, I submitted, "Sir, you are born in a superior Brahmin caste. It is not good to come to the colony of washermen." For that Sripada replied, "Who do you think is Narasavadhani? He is a washerman carrying on his head a load of sin comparable to a washerman's bundle, whereas you are a washerman yearning for Brahmajnana, that is the knowledge of Absolute. Hence, you are a superior Brahmin. Therefore, it is not unreasonable for me to come here." Then I fell on the feet of Sripada and sobbed. Seeing me with his ambrosial looks, he lifted me from the ground with his divine hands. He kept his divine hands on my head. Then the whole of my past life came to my memory. The yogic forces in me reached a state of momentum. The Kundalini Shakti, that is the coiled serpent powers lying in human beings, was activated. Sripada disappeared quietly with slow steps. Narasavadhani was growing Thotakura in his house. The Thotakura in his house was very tasty. He was not giving that vegetable to anyone even after their strong pleadings. Only when he was expecting great return from anyone, he was giving that Thotakura to him. Sreepada requested his mother to cook Thotakura curry. He asked her to collect the vegetable only from the house of Narasavadhani. This appeared as an impossible thing. His grandfather Bapanarya said, "My dear Sreepada, tomorrow morning you better request Narasavadhani to give you Thotakura. I will carry you to their house. If Narasavadhani will not oblige, you should not insist about that matter." Sreepada agreed to that. Next morning, Bapanarya carried Sreepada to the house of Narasavadhani. Bapanarya told Sreepada that elders should be respected and their blessings were to be obtained. Sreepada agreed. Narasavadhani sat on the pile outside his house. He was having a shikha, that is a large tuft of hair coil, on his head. A barber just came there and he was trying to shave Narasavadhani. Sreepada, who was sitting on the shoulders of his grandfather, saw Narasavadhani and saluted him with folded hands. Narasavadhani was taken aback at this sudden happening. The incisive looks of Sreepada fell on the shikha on the head of Narasavadhani. The shikha on Narasavadhani's head fell down effortlessly. He was in a confused state and did not understand how his shikha fell on its own accord. Then Sreepada said to his grandfather, "Grandpa, the shikha on the top of Narasavadhani's head was very dear to him. Now it fell down on its own accord. It won't be nice for me to ask him now for that green leafy vegetable which is very much loved by him. Why should I subject him to more misery when he is already having intense sorrow? Let's go to our house." After that, Sreepada never asked for Thotakura. Narasavadhani came to know the trick played in the salute made to him by Sreepada. When he sat in meditation, a bright person closely resembling him came out of him. Narasavadhani asked him who he was and where he was going. That bright person said, "I am the Punya Sharira, that is the body of merit inside your body. You have recited Vedas numerous times so far. You worshipped self-manifested Datta. When that very Datta incarnated as Sreevallabha, you insulted him. If you have at least 1 by 100,000th degree of love and affection you harbor for your Thotakura and Pilaka, that is large tuft of hair, towards Sreepada, your birth would have been redeemed. Destruction of moha, that is infatuation, is moksha, that is liberation. You are shackled by the bonds of moha. You are going to face penury very shortly. To avert it, Sreepada desired to take donation of vegetables from you. Had you offered him Thotakura as requested, the impending poverty would have been neutralized. Not only that, you would have been granted with wealth. You have spoiled such an opportunity with your own hands. Even then, Sreepada is an ocean of mercy. He is going to conceal his present incarnation and will take another incarnation. At that time, you will take birth as a poor Brahmin. You will grow Thotakura in your house even then. At the appropriate time, I will re-enter your body. Afterwards, Sreepada will visit your house and eat the curry of Thotakura cooked and served with love. He will grant you riches. I am, however, leaving you for the present. The salutation of Sreepada was not intended for you. It was a command to me, who is an embodiment of your merit, to leave you and merge with him. As you received the obeisance of Sreepada, you lost the merit personified in my form residing in you. Only the personified sin remained in you. Saying so, the Punya Purusha merged in Sreepada. From that time onwards, the living conditions of Narasavadhani deteriorated. No one was caring for his word. The luster that was in his body disappeared. Cholera spread in Pithikapuram. Many people were dying. The doctors concluded that due to the pollution of water, bacteria was growing and they were responsible for the spread of epidemics. Fear-stricken people prayed to Bapanarya to save them from the dreadful disease and to find out the ways prescribed by scriptures for the good of the people. They requested him to take suitable steps immediately. Sri Bapannavadhani viewed the problem with inner sight. He found out that the disease was caused by pollution in the airy hemisphere and not due to the pollution of water. The doctors bluntly said that the statement of Bapannavadhani was against the tenets of medical science and therefore it was not acceptable. People were performing various pujas to the village goddess and were offering many animal sacrifices to appease her. When an animal is killed, its life force would be forcibly released. By chanting of mantras, that life force would come under the control of the person offering the animal sacrifice. Bapannavadhani stated that many yogic practices were available for increasing the pranic force and that many sattvic ways of worship existed and sattvic modes of worship were to be adopted to propitiate the village goddess. In spite of that advice, people did not stop offering animal sacrifice. Some person who had faith in Sreepada Vallabha and his divine actions asked Sreepada about this matter. Then Sri Charana told them that he ordered village goddess not to ask for animal sacrifice and that she went to the seaside for a bath and that by offering milky pudding, goddess Kali would be pacified. He directed that the information should be widely made known to the people of that village and the nearby villages through a proclamation by the beat of a tom-tom on a leather drum. When asked who should be employed for the purpose, Sreepada told them that Venkayya, who was suffering from cholera, was to be selected for the job and he must be told that it was his command. The faithful devotees of Sreevallabha went to Venkayya. Venkayya was nearing death. When the command of Sreepada was conveyed, he fainted. After a ghadiya, he became normal and regained complete health. This news became a widely discussed item in Pithikapuram. The proclamation by the beat of tom-tom was made by Venkayya. Bapannavadhani wanted a big vessel filled with water to be placed in his presence. He chanted some mantras capable of destroying the poisonous creatures. Those poisonous worms from the airy region fell into the watery vessel, making a fluttering sound. The impurity in the airy region was eliminated. The dreadful disease left Pithikapuram. On Ganesha Chaturthi, which happened to be the birthday of Sreepada, Raja Sharma, along with his wife, took Sreepada to the house of Bapannavadhani. Whenever Sri Bapannavadhani tried to observe the lotus feet of Sreepada to see the auspicious signs, his eyes were dazzled with very brilliant lights. So, he could not see the auspicious signs of Sri Mahavishnu. This was rather puzzling for him. On that day in the early morning, Bapannavadhani saw divine footprints on the husk extracted from the pounded rice. Bapannavadhani asked his daughter Sumati, "Amma, who has gone this way?" Sumati replied, "Who else? Your beloved grandson went this way." Those footprints appeared to belong to a boy of 16 years. The grandfather took Sreevallabha into his lap and observed his Sri Charanams. Then the dazzling lights which were appearing before his eyes previously were not to be seen. The divine features declaring that he was really the incarnation of Lord Datta appeared before him. He kissed the divine Sri Charanams and decided that the boy is verily Lord Datta. Then some words were uttered from the mouth of Bapannavadhani effortlessly. There was no need for their grammatical correctness or for their flawless prosody. Sreepada silently wiped the tears that trickled from the eyes of his grandfather. He said, "Grandfather, you attracted the vital force from the sun and transferred to the Mallikarjuna Shivalinga in Srishaila. At the same time, the vital force from the sun was attracted towards Mahabaleshwar in Gokarna and the self-manifested Datta in Padagaya Kshetra. I wanted to charge the Gokarna Kshetra with much more energy. My intention was to liquidate the undesirable vibrations of the people in Mahabaleshwara into the Atmalinga of Parameshwara and transmit good vibrations to the dependents. In the same way, I wanted to invest Mallikarjuna, who grants liberation by mere sight, with more strength. You are a truthful sage. You decided that I would not be short-lived because mother had saluted my feet. I affirmed that as my mother prostrated on my feet in the form of Srivallabha, I would live for a short span. To avoid conflict between our words, I intend to live in your house for only 16 years. I have to favor the spiritual aspirants who desire release from the bonds of worldly existence. You want that I should live forever. I would fulfill that also. This magnificent divine shape bearing the name Sreepada Sreevallabha would be concealed. Even after the advent as Narasimha Saraswati, this Sreepada Sreevallabha form would stand as an eternal reality. Incarnating as Narasimha Saraswati, I would be in penance in the plantain forest for 300 years. Afterwards, I take shape as Swami Samartha in Prajnapura and transfer my life force into a peepal tree and merge in the Shivalinga at Srishaila. Bapanarya regarded all this with wonder and astonishment. The first birthday celebrations of Sreepada were held in his grandfather's house with great pomp. A strange thing happened that day in Pithikapuram. When Narasavadhani, the priest, and some others went to Sri Kukkuteshwara temple in the morning, they found the idol of self-manifested Datta missing. The news of the disappearance of the idol spread like wildfire in the village. A tantric who was jealous of Narasavadhani undertook propaganda that Narasavadhani, who was cultivating evil practices, was the one who caused the disappearance of the idol. Then the Brahmin community of Pithikapuram resolved to thoroughly search the house of Narasavadhani. When asked, Bapanarya said that the truth will come out only after a steady wait and that he felt silence was more appropriate at that time. He also added that he would speak at an opportune time. When some portions in the house of Narasavadhani were dug out, human skulls and some articles connected to evil rituals were found. Even though Narasavadhani was innocent, he was stamped as a practitioner of witchcraft and evil worship. His health was going down day after day. There was a barren cow in his house. It was also treated as a bullock and used for agricultural activities. Narasavadhani did not feed it properly. The tantric introduced an evil spirit in that cow. One day, it broke down the bonds fastening it. It fiercely pierced the inmates of the house and destroyed the Totakura garden developed with love by its master. No one could bind it with a rope. It was the day of the annual ceremony of Narasavadhani's mother. Garis, that are round cakes made of black gram, and some more victuals were prepared sumptuously. That cow ate the preparations in the cooking place of the house of Narasavadhani. The guests of the ceremony finished their meals by that time, but the inmates of the house did not take the meals. Sreepada was teasing his father Raja Sharma that they should go to the house of Narasavadhani. Raja Sharma took Sreepada with him and stood in the front of the house of Narasavadhani. In the meanwhile, the cow of Narasavadhani came out. Sreepada asked his father to keep him on the ground. That cow went round Sreepada thrice, and afterwards it prostrated before the auspicious feet of Sreepada and breathed its last. This incident was commented upon by the people of Pithikapuram in various ways. It was commented that poison was mixed inadvertently in the black gram cakes. The holy guests of the ceremony were luckily saved, but the cow died of the poisonous effect. It was also held that Narasavadhani would be guilty of killing a cow and that sin would affect him. These comments were causing lot of anguish to Narasavadhani. As the cow circumambulated Sreepada and died, many people considered that Sri Charana possessed extraordinary divine qualities. As Raja Sharma was having some knowledge of Ayurvedic medicine, he was treating Narasavadhani on his request. Whenever Raja Sharma was going to the house of Narasavadhani, Sreepada was also going with him. In spite of the greatness of Raja Sharma as a physician, the health of Narasavadhani deteriorated further. One day, Narasavadhani died. Rumors, false propaganda, attempts at twisting untruth as truth, and vice versa were very much rampant in Pithikapuram. Raja Sharma gave medicine with good intention, but his endeavour did not succeed. After all, birth and death are under the control of God. Some people thought that Narasavadhani died on account of a tantric application by a tantric. Some others thought that Raja Sharma did not treat Narasavadhani properly due to animosity and that he would have lived if treated by another doctor. Some others opined that it was unreasonable to regard Sreepada Sreevallabha as an incarnation of Datta. In spite of daily visits by Sreevallabha to the house of Narasavadhani, he died. Hence, Sreepada was an ordinary boy. This was how some people thought about the matter. It was also resolved that as a cow died from poison, Narasavadhani also died from the terrible sin of killing a cow, and that some more corpses would go to the burial ground from that house. It was suggested that for the removal of the sin of cow killing, the following measures were to be taken. Liberal donations should be given to the Brahmins. A golden idol of a cow should be donated to the Brahmins. Propitiatory sacrifices should be conducted for 40 days. Free meals should be served to the Brahmins every day during the period of sacrifices. These are the measures for removing the sin of killing a cow. To organize all the above programs, the entire property of Narasavadhani had to be sold. This matter was also like a thunderbolt to the family of Narasavadhani. The corpse of Narasavadhani was carried to the burial ground for funeral. Raja Sharma, Sreepada and Sri Bapannavadhani consoled the family members of Narasavadhani. The wife of Narasavadhani held the hands of Sreepada and wept. Sreepada, I was going for an assembly of married women at each other's house during a festival at any distance for a pinch of turmeric and kunkuma. If you are Datta, is it impossible for you to revive your Narasanna Tata? Sreepada, with an ambrosial heart, wiped the tears with his divine hands and remained silent. The funeral procession started. Raja Sharma, Sreepada and Sri Bapannavadhani, all of them participated in the funeral procession. The eldest son of Narasavadhani was trying to lit the funeral pyre. 2 drops of tears from the eyes of Sri Sreepada fell on the ground. With a thundering sound, Sreepada said, "Oh, I saw a son lighting the pyre of a dead father, but I have not seen a son lighting the pyre of a living father." Then all people were looking with astonishment. Sreepada slowly touched with his thumb the center point of eyebrows of Narasavadhani on the pyre and again touched his own center of eyebrows. Narasavadhani was slowly regaining consciousness. Narasavadhani returned home in a Shobha, that is auspicious procession, with all those who followed his corpse in the funeral procession. As Sreepada touched the center point of his eyebrows, Narasavadhani realized the subtle secrets of the principle of karma. He understood that the barren cow in his house was his mother, and the old bullock in his house was his father. Since both of them ill-treated his paternal grandmother in her old age, they took such low births and labored for him in a servile manner. It was also clearly envisioned by him that the mother cow, while dying, requested Sreepada to drink its milk, and for that, Sreepada assured that he would drink its milk in the next birth, when it would be born as a barren cow. He also began to grasp the particular details of the subtle worlds. For instance, it became clear to him that the tantric who harmed him with tantric application would die soon, and that he would become a brahminical fiend in the next birth, and that Sri Charana as an ascetic would show mercy on him then. It was also known to him that in the next life he would also be favored by Sreepada in the guise of an ascetic with abundant wealth. Then Sri Charana eats the preparations made from totakura and uproots the creepers of the above green leafy vegetable with his own hands and grants vessels filled with gold coins. Narasavadhani saw the future very clearly. The sportive plays of Sreepada Sreevallabha are unprecedented and uncomparable. I will let you know tomorrow benevolent advice of Sreevallabha to Narasavadhani and his wife, and the way in which he showed mercy to them. Let us remember the name of Sreepada Sreevallabha and spend some time in a bhajan program. Let us sing his name in a melodious chorus. Sri Charana moves in a subtle form in a place where his divine name is chanted. This is a literal truth. I was immediately pleased and exalted because I got association of such a great devotee as Tirumaladaasa. Victory, victory to Sreepada Sreevallabha. Here ends the 6th chapter of Sreepada Sreevallabha Charitaamritham. Sripada RAJAM SHARANAM PRAPADHYE.
पूर्णचिज्योति चैतन्य सर्वात्मने सूर्य चन्द्राग्निಗಳಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಆಧಾರನೆ पूर्णचिज्योति चैतन्य सर्वात्मने सूर्य चन्द्राग्निಗಳಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಆಧಾರನೆ नेत्र श्रोत्रादिया चित्त बुद्ध्यादिया नित्य मीरुत बेळगुव गुरुराय जय मीरुत बेळगुव गुरुराय जय 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 अनसूय तनया जय आरति बेळगुवे दत्तदयामय आरति बेळगुवे दत्तदयामय जय जय अनसूय तनया जय 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 अनसूय तनया जय 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 अनसूय ನಾನು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಎಂಬಿ ಪರಿ ತೋರದೆ ತಾನೇ ತಾನಾದ ಸ್ವಾನಂದ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯವೇ ನಾನು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಎಂಬಿ ಪರಿ ತೋರದೆ ತಾನೇ ತಾನಾದ ಸ್ವಾನಂದ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯವೇ ದೇಶ ಕಾಲಾದಿಯ ಕಾರ್ಯಕರಣಾದಿಯ ನಿತ್ಯ ನಿರುತ ಬೆಳಗುವ ಯತಿರಾಯ ಜಯ ನಿರುತ ಬೆಳಗುವ ಯತಿರಾಯ ಜಯ 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 ಅನಸೂಯ ತನಯ ಜಯ 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 ಅನಸೂಯ ತನಯ ಜಯ 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 ಅನಸೂಯ ಸ್ವಪ್ನದಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲೂ ಇದ್ದ ಸ್ವಯಂ ಜ್ಯೋತಿನಿ ಎಚ್ಚರ ಸ್ವಪ್ನವೆರಡಕ್ಕೂ ಬೆಳಕಾಗಿ ಸ್ವಪ್ನದಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲೂ ಇದ್ದ ಸ್ವಯಂ ಜ್ಯೋತಿನಿ, ಎಚ್ಚರ ಸ್ವಪ್ನವೆರಡಕ್ಕೂ ಬೆಳಕಾಗಿನಿ, ನಿಂತ ಆ ನಿದ್ರೆಯ ಸ್ವಂತದ ಅನುಭವವ ನಿತ್ಯ ಮೀರುತ ಬೆಳಗುವ ಆತ್ರೇಯ ಜಯ, ಮೀರುತ ಬೆಳಗುವ ಆತ್ರೇಯ ಜಯ. ಜಯ ಜಯ ಅನಸೂಯ ತನಯ ಜಯ, ಜಯ ಜಯ ಅನಸೂಯ ತನಯ ಜಯ, ಜಯ ಜಯ ಅನಸೂಯ. ಅದ್ವಯಾನಂದ ತುರ್ಯಾತ್ಮ ಪದವಾಗಿಹ ಶುದ್ಧ ಜ್ಞಾನಾನುಭವದಾರತಿಯ ತೋರಿದ, ಅದ್ವಯಾನಂದ ತುರ್ಯಾತ್ಮ ಪದವಾಗಿಹ ಶುದ್ಧ ಜ್ಞಾನಾನುಭವದಾರತಿಯ ತೋರಿದ, ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದನೇ ಸ್ವಚ್ಛ ಚಿನ್ಮಾತ್ರನೇ, ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದನೇ ಸ್ವಚ್ಛ ಚಿನ್ಮಾತ್ರನೇ, ಗುರು ಶಂಕರ ರೂಪನೇ ದತ್ತದಯಾಮಯ, ಶಂಕರ ರೂಪನೇ ದತ್ತದಯಾಮಯ. ಜಯ ಜಯ ಅನಸೂಯ ತನಯ ಜಯ, ಆರತಿ ಬೆಳಗುವೆ ದತ್ತದಯಾಮಯ, ಆರತಿ ಬೆಳಗುವೆ ದತ್ತದಯಾಮಯ. ಜಯ ಜಯ ಅನಸೂಯ ತನಯ ಜಯ, ಜಯ ಜಯ ಅನಸೂಯ ತನಯ ಜಯ, ಜಯ ಜಯ ಅನಸೂಯ ತನಯ ಜಯ, ಜಯ ಜಯ ಅನಸೂಯ.
ದಯಾಘನ ದತ್ತರಾಜಮೂರ್ತಿ ಆರತಿ, ಜಯ ಜಯ ತ್ರಯಮೂರ್ತಿ. ದಯಾಘನ ದತ್ತರಾಜಮೂರ್ತಿ ಆರತಿ, ಜಯ ಜಯ ತ್ರಯಮೂರ್ತಿ. ಎರಗಿದ ನರರ ಹಣೆಯೊಳಿರುವ ದುರಿತವ ದಹಿಸುವ ಗುರುದೇವ, ಎರಗಿದ ನರರ ಹಣೆಯೊಳಿರುವ ದುರಿತವ ದಹಿಸುವ ಗುರುದೇವ, ಕರುಣೆಯ ಸೆಲೆಯ ಹರಿಸಿ ಮನವ ರಮಿಸುವ ಸಗುಣದ ಸದ್ಭಾವ. ದಯಾಘನ ದತ್ತರಾಜಮೂರ್ತಿ ಆರತಿ, ಜಯ ಜಯ ತ್ರಯಮೂರ್ತಿ. ಭಜಕ ಜನ ಕಾಮಕಲ್ಪಭೂಜ, ಕುಜನ ಕುಲ ಕಂಗೆಡಿಸುವ ತೇಜ. ಭಜಕ ಜನ ಕಾಮಕಲ್ಪಭೂಜ, ಕುಜನ ಕುಲ ಕಂಗೆಡಿಸುವ ತೇಜ. ನಿಜವ ನೆಲೆಗಿಳಿಸುವ ಗುರು ರಾಜ, ವಿಜಯದ ಮೂರುತಿಯತಿರಾಜ. ದಯಾಘನ ದತ್ತರಾಜಮೂರ್ತಿ ಆರತಿ, ಜಯ ಜಯ ತ್ರಯಮೂರ್ತಿ. ಗಾಣಗಾಪುರ ನಿರ್ಗುಣ ಪಾದ ಕೃಷ್ಣೆಯ ಅವದುಂಬರ ಪಾದ. ಗಣಗಾಪುರ ನಿರ್ಗುಣ ಪಾದ ಕೃಷ್ಣೆಯ ಅವದುಂಬರ ಪಾದ. ಧ್ಯಾನಿಪೆ ಅಮರಾಪುರ ಪಾದ, ಕುರವಪುರ ತಾಣದ ಶ್ರೀಪಾದ. ದಯಾಘನ ದತ್ತರಾಜಮೂರ್ತಿ दत्तराजमूर्ति आरति जय जय त्रयमूर्ति दयाघन दत्तराजमूर्ति आरति जय जय त्रयमूर्ति दयाघन दत्तराजमूर्ति आरति जय जय त्रयमूर्ति आरति जय जय त्रयमूर्ति आरति जय जय त्रयमूर्ति।